Where will this Europe go in the next 5 years, in the next 10 years? In a new world order will be completely different as today.
What's killing Europe and what's hurting our societies is indifference of well-meaning people. They should speak up, they should say where they stand, then they can shape the future.
People must know that the decisions on European level have a direct impact in their daily life.
Do have a look and decide for yourself. Don't let other people decide your future for you.
This was the first debate that had both the two favourites, Manfred Weber of the centre-right EPP and Frans Timmermans of the Party of European Socialists, as well as some of the smaller parties, the Liberals and the Greens. The candidate's place on the stage was drawn by lot, but it turned out that you had the centre-right parties, the Conservatives and the Liberals on one side, and the centre-left parties, the Socialists and the Greens, on the other side. And that's kind of how the debate went. There was a pretty clear right-left divide.
Well, Manfred Weber was saying, we need a plastic for Europe. Like, why did he vote and his group vote against exactly that in the European Parliament?
The socialist candidate, Mr. Timmermans, was against more cooperation on defense, for example, on foreign policy. And said, we have to be realistic, and he doesn't like dreams. I think we need dreams. We need vision.
Well, I think the main dividing lines are about how you go about creating more security. I think there's a strong difference between Keller, myself on the one hand, and Guy Verhofstadt and Manfred Weber on the other hand, in terms of social justice.
I'm a man of free trade. I believe in single market, the European single market. I want to strengthen the single market. I think socialists are not so clear in these fields.
It was on economics, where the centre-right parties emphasised trade, whereas the centre-left parties talked more about tax redistribution and social justice.
Very harsh austerity agenda which has not been leading to growth and development at all.
What I want to do is now to invest in innovation, to have openness for trade, and we have to cut red tape.
We could also see this on security, where both centre-right parties want a European FBI, which the centre-left parties were more sceptical of. Another security policy was about whether to cooperate more on defence.
So what I think we have to do is really a European army. And I believe that it is possible. European army of 20,000 people.
Thank you.
2024, why not?
Give me the list of national parliaments who will give out of their hands the decision on sending troops into harm's way. Give me that list.
No, but
The candidate of the leading party that stands to get the most votes in the election is Manfred Weber of the EPP. But he also seemed to have the most to defend. He doesn't have as much experience as some of the other candidates, especially Frans Timmermans, a socialist candidate who's a sitting commissioner, vice president of the commission, and who many times attacked Weber directly. Timmermans, on the other hand, came across as the debater who was most at ease with concise messages, even though his party trails quite a lot behind the centre-right in the polls. There are also many topics on which these candidates are more or less in agreement. For example, on the importance of climate change sustainability. Of course, Keller, the Green candidate, comes with perhaps the most credibility and the most radicalism in her proposals.
Have a CO2 price on every single CO2 ton that's being emitted, and then repay the income from that to each and every single citizen. So if you have a lower income and you have lower CO2 emissions, you will have a benefit, you will have a big plus on your account. If you earn more, and especially if you emit a lot of CO2, that will not be the case.
We have to do these changes in a social acceptable way, and we have to do it also in a way that our industry can live with this.
And they also agreed on the seriousness of corporate taxation and the difficulty of taxing corporations, multinational corporations.
It is unbearable that big companies are making billions of profits in Europe and paying no taxes. We need to change that immediately.
Keller, you are still in the lead in terms of time discipline, so why don't you answer the question first?
Why?
Unfortunately, we only had one woman on the podium, and perhaps a bit stereotypically, she was the one who kept best to her time, whereas you had some instances of older men talking over one another and not finishing on time. Who won the debate? In my own opinion, there wasn't really a clear-cut winner. Who is likely to do best in the elections in a couple of weeks' time? This, in the end, depends on you and how you vote.